as we've talked about, it seems like XDefiant is upcoming next month at the very latest. Now, things absolutely could change, but fingers crossed that's not the case. In the meantime, though, while we're perhaps right on the precipice of seeing what the full game has to offer, I want to take a bit of time to discuss how the game could get even better, adding in my wishlist items for the game for both at launch and as the game continues to build after launch, because we know this is going to be a progressive thing. We're going to see stuff added in after the game is launched. So drop your thoughts down below on what you'd like to see included with the game as we go along. Drop a like if you enjoy, and subscribe for more XDefiant coverage and content, and make sure to check out my friends over at G Fuel, but more on that later. For now, let's jump into it. So I'm sure that I'm going to forget something, and the moment this gets published, I'll be like, I can't believe I forgot that, but here we go. Firstly, one thing that I would like to see is in regards to ranking. One thing that we've seen now is that XDefiant is going to be, of course, multi-year. It's not going to be something that you get a new XDefiant 2, if you will, next year at this time or something like that. We're going to see the game continue, and it's already been proposed that we'll see annual prestiges. That's something that they're looking to build out, where maybe you end up getting the ability to either have new prestiges entirely replace the ones you grinded through, let's just say 10 for theory's sake, where you have 10 new ones, you start at level 1 again each year over year, or if it's something that, like, instead of a max cap of 10, year 2 introduces a max cap of 20. One thing that I really do hope is that whatever the case may be, is we have a career rank alongside that in some capacity. To me, I gotta ask, what harm is there for a multi-year game saying, hey, I've been here from the beginning and this is where I'm at if you add up everything, while also still having that theoretical cap or whatever in regards to how a traditional prestige system would work. Personally, I think that's something that does no harm, in which you're like, okay, hey, I'm max prestige on the year, I'm max level, but I've also done another year, another 2 years or something like that worth of my grind in regards to this. And if they want to go a step further, I think an uncapped level system would be pretty sick for a career rank as well, so that you could show that, yeah, I've played to that 10th prestige, that 20th prestige, that 30th prestige year over year, but I've also done so much more. I think that'd be really cool, and that's one thing that I do hope to see added in. Next, I'd love to see a prestige shop. I'd love to see something that rewards players with meaningful cosmetics. Camos, skins, charms, any calling cards if they add those in, stuff like that, that once you hit a certain prestige, it unlocks a number of things you can unlock with, I don't know, prestige tokens or something like that, but something that gives that sort of milestone and worthwhile reason to go on to that next prestige or to keep chasing that higher number. I think that that would be awesome. And as a result, I think just even prestige rewards would be pretty cool as well. If you do have that career rank, you could have a super rare skin at level 500, 600, 700 after you hit max level or something like that. That'd be pretty cool, I think, as well. But when it comes down to it, the larger thing at hand is I just hope there's grind-worthy content as well. We know that we're going to have mastery camos, but I think it'd be sick to have other additional mastery items, like for weapon leveling, individual, classification, maybe all weapons, either in the way of like a mastery camo for getting every gun gold or something like that, maybe max ranking every single gun, which from the beta, there looks to be hundreds of levels, so that would be a true grind if nothing changes there. Faction mastery would be pretty cool as well. X amount of kills with a certain faction, X amount of whatever for mastery uniforms or something like that. I think there's a lot of different ways you could take it, but things that would allow you to have that ability to grind out and continue to keep playing. But on a more sort of micro level here, not necessarily macro, I think you need to also have grind-worthy content within each season. We know we're going to have a couple of seasons each year with XDefiant in year 1, year 2, year 3 coverage and support, but I think that seasonal challenges with sets of rewards would be pretty cool to have as well. For the first time in a long time, I think Call of Duty finally nailed this with Modern Warfare 3. Now, the seasonal reward system is not new. Fortnite really popularized it back in the day, but Modern Warfare 3 most recently with those camos that you get for completing 5 of the weekly challenges, but all 8-week sets of those, I think that's insanely well done in regards to a challenge system. It affords somebody that wants to keep grinding the game out day over day something that they can do, and a new unique set of challenges with a weekly reward associated with that, but it's also not impossible for somebody that's like, oh, it's week 7 of 8, I need to do all these challenges. It still only takes a little bit of game time and a little bit of concentration to do that kind of stuff for an overall pretty cool reward at the end of that, I think. So I think if you add something like that, it'd be pretty cool. Also, seasonal events. Again, I think Modern Warfare 3 is finally nailing this and keeping players coming back week over week in season. I'm not expecting XDefiant, and honestly, I'm not even expecting Call of Duty. I'm very surprised that Modern Warfare 3 has been able to keep up with this weekly. I wouldn't expect XDefiant to do this every single week, but with a game that has seasonal content, it's something that becomes very cyclical. You have these drops at the beginning and the middle likely for content and the worthwhile additions, but in those sort of off weeks, which are like a month at a time at that point, oftentimes there's really no reason to continue playing and to grind out the game. This one's hit or miss, but I feel like if you want to grab players and make their main game XDefiant, having something that keeps their interest peaking on those off weeks when there's not just like a new map or a new faction or something like that, even if it's just an additional peak every 2 weeks or so, that's huge in keeping players on board and coming back for more, giving them a genuine sense of, hey, I can complete this for a meaningful reason. I want to come back. Call of Duty and other games in the past have oftentimes tried to do this, but without anything that's actually meaningful or has something that's worthwhile to come back for. But I feel like if you can offer something that is tangible and is actually feeling like, oh, that's a worthwhile thing to put my time into, it's going to organically keep players playing a lot more. Another huge thing, probably one of the biggest things among all, is an anti-cheat. It is integral to the game doing well. Free-to-play and cheating goes hand in hand, unfortunately. There is no barrier of entry. With paid games that are like $60, $70, $80, of course, somebody that's cheating, if they get banned, they're probably not going to come back 2, 3, 4, 5 times over because that starts to add up and breaks the wallet a bit. But what's to stop somebody from getting banned and just making a new account on a free game and being back to annoying players within 5 to 10 minutes? An anti-cheat is absolutely necessary. Now listen, I'm absolutely no expert in this area, so I'm just going to leave the topic at that. To those that are better qualified, feel free to discuss. But good Lord, I do hope there's an anti-cheat. Honestly, I'd be totally cool if there's an anti-cheat that does actual hardware bans or makes it something very hard for spoofing ways around this and stuff. Just make it as annoying for a cheater to deter them from doing that again. That's the way that I see it. But anyways, beyond that, that's like my bigger ticket stuff that I can think of off the top of my head. Other smaller things that I'd love to see would be a nice fleshed out after action report and combat record. I think that that is a very small and sort of underappreciated thing within FPS titles and games altogether. Also, in that same vein, a leaderboard, that's something that I really do hope is intuitive and something that's comprehensive as well that comes along with it. Beyond that, I'd love the ability to queue into games while still in that firing range. I was very impressed with the firing range that we ended up getting with XDefiant in a beta state. So for the potential to be even more added on top of that, I'm absolutely going to be in the firing range when I'm not playing and just either warming up or testing out builds, stuff like that. So similar to how COD does it with recent games, if a party member queues, I don't want to be kicked out of that and go to the matchmaking screen. If it can be something where I can still be in that firing range while I'm queuing for a match, I think that'd be perfect. Another thing that I would love to see is a no ability and mercenary playlist, something that I'm sure could be added in the future. No ability kind of defeats the purpose of a lot of XDefiant, sure, but at the same time, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that love the arcade feel of XDefiant, but don't really care too much for the abilities, the hero nature of it. It kind of combines a little bit of the best of both of those sort of things, but again, it might not be for everybody. So if there's the ability to play without abilities, I think that could do well. And a mercenary playlist, I also think would be a lot of fun too, just because there's one, no skill-based matchmaking, awesome, but then you also don't have to run into the potential of running into a team stacking or something like that. Now, that's always going to be a possibility in matchmaking for sure, but like if you can remove that, like myself, I'm a true solo player. I don't play a lot of games with friends unless it's like Warzone that you see and gameplay up there, but any MP content you'll see, it's usually just me playing by myself. I'm a solo player for a lot of stuff, so I'd love to be able to do that. It's not the end of the world if that doesn't happen, but I'd love to see it. I would also love to, and this is so small, but I would love to see reticle customization. I think that'd be lovely. Modern Warfare 2019 had a great customization option set for reticles. Now you got to kind of hope that there's a bundle or a blueprint that has a reticle that you like and a variant in color to use. You can't just simply have a red, blue, green, purple, pink, yellow dot for your red dot, your holographic sight, your 4x optic anymore, which is a bummer. You don't have that ability to just quickly choose and be able to have that choice no matter the optic. Those sort of very variables of those optics don't apply to every optic anymore. It's only a certain subset of them. And again, you have to usually find them in the store. To take it a step further, I think Crosshair customization would be pretty cool as well, similar to how you can see that adjusted in games like Counter-Strike. And finally, it's not so much a small thing, but it's also not super integral to the gameplay experience for me, that I think it'd be really cool to have: a theater mode. That was something that was discussed and mentioned a while back. Can't remember off the top of my head if that was something they said they're not going to do or they're going to investigate, but I mean, it is something that would be, I think, really cool for content creation and maybe watching VODs back if you're a competitive player. But beyond that, it's a lot of investing into the engineering and structure of the game that isn't going to be used by a whole lot of people. So I understand if that doesn't make it to a live environment, but that's my wish list here for XDefiant, what I think could make XDefiant even better. So that said, that is where we're going to wrap it up. I would love to get your thoughts and feedback down below. What do you guys think of this here? But before we wrap everything up, make sure to check out my friends over at G Fuel. A reminder, code Espresso can get you up to 30% off your entire order. To me, G Fuel is my cup of coffee in the morning, gets my day and my productivity going, and I'm sure there's a flavor out there for you. I'd personally recommend Pog Juice, Starfruit, Strawberry Banana, the Morbius Nectarine flavor, and more. But whether you want to try it out for the very first time, grab like a starter kit where it ends up giving you a few sample packs and a shaker, or you want to grab a restock, you have a favorite tub or two, code Espresso can net you a nice little discount if you're interested. So check the link down below if you guys would like to learn more or check it out. Again, code Espresso can get up to 30% off. But that's it. That's what we're going to call it. So let me know your thoughts down below. Looking forward to XDefiant. Anything you'd add to this list, subtract, whatever, feel free to let me know. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things XDefiant and other FPS content. I'd love to have in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.